Welcome to the Party Hot Summer Podcast.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. This is the Bunny Hug Farmers Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Janin. I'm here with my co-host, Dallas Leduc. We're having a lot of fun doing these, really enjoying them. Summertime, it's a little bit harder to line up guests. Just everybody's busy, and we understand that. Everybody's at the lake, everybody's haying, spraying, or just having fun with their families. Dallas, I've heard you've been having a lot of fun with your families. What have you been up to lately?
Finished the in-crop spraying, so that's nice to have that done. And then I was cut a little bit of hay at home here with the big swather because our hay crop is pretty awful. And then I had a neighbor drive by and looked over, and you guys got a big swather? Well, his winter wheat got wrote off by crop insurance, and he wants us to go swath it. So I moved up there today and started cutting some of that. So I guess I jumped from one job to the next job without really knowing I was going to do it. Oh, well, that's just how it works on a farm. Besides that, we're still being dry. We caught a couple of showers, but a lot of our crop is going to be a pretty dismal, terrible crop. So it is what it is, and I guess we're just going to grin and bear it and get through it.
So to give people an idea about how dry you are out there, how much rain have you had since the 1st of May?
1st of May till now, in the yard, we would be right about maybe 2.5 inches total since the snow melted. So really not a measurable great amount. And we did a little, buddy of mine, we figured out between June 15th and June 15th, the 24 to 25, grand total, 2 inches. That's all we had for the entire year between snow and rain. Between 24 and 25, June 15th, 24 and 25, 2 inches of moisture. Our subsoil moisture is depleted and gone. So we are in pretty tough shape, but hopefully it improves. It can't get any worse. I'm pretty sure of that. So we just have to grin and bear it. And we do have a guest in this episode, and by popular demand, we have Melanie, That Female Farmer. She's pretty infamous on TikTok. I've been following her for years, so I'm really honored to have Melanie come and join us.
And to top it off, she is our very first female guest to have on the Bunny Hug Farmers Podcast.
Awesome. Yeah. Hi, guys. Glad to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Well, we did a little TikTok poll there, and you were the hands down one of the most requested. You and CK Farms are the two most requested people that we could find. So CK, we're going to do him later. And Melanie, we're just so happy that you could make time out of your busy Sunday afternoon to join us. I know you have some family down, so we're going to make this short and sweet, but we really appreciate that.
Sounds good. No, like I said, thanks for the invite. I'm very humbled by it. So very, very excited for this podcast as well.
We're just a couple of farmers, and we just started this podcast just to have a little fun, just to spread, Western Canada and actually North American agriculture, because we've actually found viewers from all over the world. Has been really impressive, but just to spread how things are, how our farms aren't overly far apart on a map, but so dramatically different. And your farm is so much different than what I and Tyler are used to. Where I'm so looking forward to hearing some of your guys' history and some of your machinery and how things are going over there.
Yeah, absolutely. Love to share.
So let's just start off with a little bit of history. Like your farm. Well, you start off, and we'll go from there.
All right. So yeah, a little bit of history. I'm third generation on the family farm here in Central Alberta. And my grandparents and parents immigrated in 93. And yeah, basically my grandparents started it, my parents took over, and now my husband and I are starting to take over the family farm.
So were your family farmers in Germany before they decided to immigrate here to Canada?
Yeah, so they had, my grandpa had a small farm in Germany and, did all the pigs, the grain, haying, all that kind of stuff. But in Germany, it's very tough to expand, to get bigger, that you can really live off the farm. And they fell in love with Canada when they visited. My dad was, I think, 16 or 18 the first time he came visiting with my grandpa, and they just fell in love with the land, and they just saw the opportunity here and really wanted to come over. So after a long time of trying and some hits and misses, they were able to come over in 93.
That's pretty awesome. So are your grandparents still involved in the farm?
No, well, a little bit. So my grandpa is still trucking with us. He'll come over from Germany just for harvest, just that he can be on the combine for a little bit, and he'll run the trucks back and forth to the grain elevators or to the farm, and so he really enjoys still being a part of it. I think it's probably a very common thing that farmers don't really retire. So
yes, he must find it almost mind-blowing from what he started in 93 to what your parents and yourself have grown the farm up to now.
yeah, I mean, we're up to 1,000 acres about now, and that's all due to my parents and my grandparents just being smart about their money and just investing in the land, and they've done an incredible job getting this farm up to what it is today.
My dad says a very similar thing. He doesn't have a savings account. He invested all of his money in dirt and iron. And he's right. He doesn't have any money, but he's got a lot of dirt and iron.
Yeah. No, it's a good investment. Land is a good investment.
When especially, started in the 90s till now, it's, increased in value astronomically too, I would think.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's the thing. The land is very stable investment. And that's, even though when it, that's always a big sum when you're looking at buying a piece of land, but it makes sense if you do all the mathematics and you're able to somehow work it out. It's definitely made sense for the farm. And I mean, yeah, look at what it is today. So I'm very thankful that they were smart about that. And yeah, very happy and blessed to have this family farm that we have now today.
So on your family farm, is it just a grain operation? Do you have any livestock? And if it's just a grain or a crop type farm, what type of crops are you growing?
So yeah, it's definitely a grain operation. We do some haying as well, but I mean, that's just to kind of break it up, just not where it's not solely dependent on our grain, but no livestock. We have 6 different crops. We always try to increase that, but it is kind of tough getting things to grow out here. We don't have enough warm days for like soybeans and stuff we've tried, or quinoa, but at the moment we're doing, the barley, the wheat, canola, faba beans, peas, and we've done oats as well. But yeah, we have those 5 this year, and we kind of always try to increase that just to increase the rotation. But it's very tough finding more different types of crops that can grow out here successfully.
Yes, I remember my dad first started growing lentils in 1986 was the first year we grew lentils, and that was just, and for this area, I was only 10 then. It was just mind-blowing that you would even try a crop like that. And land rollers didn't exist, and neither did straight cut headers or diaquat or anything like that. So it was a whole new world. But I am very curious. Have you done faba beans in the past?
Yes. So this must be our 4th year now that we've done faba beans.
So for somebody at home that doesn't know what a faba bean is, and including me, what does a faba bean look like and what is it used in?
It's very good. It has very high protein, so it's just very good for animals, for feed. You can definitely eat it for human consumption as well, but it is pretty tough to make sure that it's like basically perfect for human consumption just because of the bugs that go at it. It looks like, I would say almost like lamb's quarters, if you guys know that. It looks almost like a weed in the field at first, but yeah, it grows pretty tall. The first year, I mean, it was like at my shoulder height, and I'm 5'10", so it gets pretty tall. It's a little bit picky. It needs its like moisture and it needs the heat. So some years we've had it a lot shorter than that. But yeah, it has a very weird stem. It's like a perfectly square stem, and the beans are like double the size of peas. They look a little wonky, the shape, but they're great for their feed for livestock, and then yeah, human consumption as well. But like I said, that's a bit of a more tough one to get. So we do it for feed.
Very cool. Because I've seen them on the field as I've drove by in other farms and stuff. I've never tried them myself. I'm just always thinking, man, if they grow to shoulder heights, because I'm almost the same height as you, that's a tall crop. I'd be impressed by seeing that.
Yeah, and it's really nice to combine as well because all the pods are high up. So, and then basically lose all the leaves, like you spray it dead. Around here is like September 10th is when we spray it dead, and then it loses all its leaves. It's basically black, and then it's very easy to put through the combine. So it's actually quite nice to combine as well.
Well, that's cool. It might be on my list of ever getting wet country here again. I might have to try season.
Yeah.
And I see you've now, congratulations, you have a little one there now you're looking after too, I see. So you and your husband recently had a baby?
Yeah. Yes, yeah, he was born in November, so he's almost 8 months.
They grow up fast. I remember when my little one was 8 months old, or just a little one, you can lay her across your forearm, and now she's 11, just a little woman cruising around the house here. So And your husband, he started off, your dynamic there of how you met your husband is a great story.
Yeah, it's a typical farmhand meets farmer's daughter. So we actually employ our farmhands from Germany just because it's so tough to find anybody here. So he was one of the guys that came over. First time he actually came over, we just, were kind of friends. Didn't really have much to do with each other much. And then he came back one more time. He was going to come back in 2016, one more time, one more year, just before he really starts his jobs finds a job in Germany. And then, yeah, it ended up being more than a year. So he's a permanent resident now. And we're married, obviously. So it's been great. And then
So what I want to know is, with the story of the farmhand meeting the farmer's daughter, going after the farmer's daughter, how well did that go over with your parents, if you're willing to indulge on that?
You know what? They actually really wanted me to. They're like, he's perfect for you. He's so handy. He's like such a nice guy. And I'm like, nope, we're just friends. So it took me 2 years. Actually, we were 2 years from 2016. I was like, nope, I just want to be friends. And like my grandparents were pushing me. They're like, he's perfect for you. My parents were like, oh, he's so nice. And I'm like, I think that almost made me be like, because they were pushing me into it, I'm like, no. And then eventually I was like, okay, well, he's actually a pretty awesome guy. Like, I'm pretty stupid for not seeing this earlier. So yeah, he got out of the friend zone after those 2 years, which he always likes to tease me about. But yeah, we're happily married. It just took me a little longer to decide, but it was almost just that pressure of everybody just saying like, yes, and I was like, no.
Well, at least you know what you got in you. You didn't rush into it. You knew your spouse well, and to the core before you ever started a relationship with them. So if you have any mistakes now or any regrets now, it is your own fault.
Oh yeah, no, like I love it because we were basically best friends before anything changed there, and I love that foundation. So no, he's definitely still absolutely my best friend.
That's great. We'll have to have him on the podcast someday too. Is he very good with his English too?
He's done a lot better for sure. I mean, he still has that accent, but he's very fluent in English.
That's awesome. That's Tyler, make note. We're gonna have Melanie and her husband back on next time.
Yes, that would be a great idea for a podcast. And that's one thing we've always wanted to do on here, is have somebody who maybe has a small social media presence, that has immigrated from another country, came from a farming background, and started their own farm here, and just how much the dynamics of one country to another are different and similar at the same time.
Yeah, he could definitely talk about that a lot because, yeah, the German agriculture is a lot different than over here.
And that ringing noise in the background was my sister. As in, was, because I hung up on her. So she'll get a kick out of this when she listens to this. You guys, I guess your farm, you've done some acres and your fancy crops and that stuff. Your equipment line is also very impressive to look at, what your family has accumulated there. You want to break down some of the stuff you have?
Oh, okay. If you have that much time. No, I mean, we have accumulated a couple stuff here and there. We're definitely I don't know if you can say a rainbow, but definitely not one kind of brand farm. We have all the brands basically on the farm. We do lots of testing with different software as well. So we definitely don't just have the one. So we have like 2 class combines and like one John Deere, the X9, right? So we have the 8800s and then the X9, and they run on the field together. We have the shared AB lines, and we do kind of testing with that, with the software and stuff. And we've got a Fendt 1050. That one with our K715 does the seeding. So we actually have a planter going as well as an air seeder. So an Amity air seeder and then a Federstadt planter. So we have both of our 2 pretty big tractors in front of those for seeding. And then for spraying, we also have 2 different sprayers. We have the Horsch, or Horsch, so I would say more, sprayer, as well as the Rogator, both self-driven ones, or propelled, like self-propelled, not the tow behinds. We had the tow behind, but we need 2 of the self-propelled. They just do a lot faster work, which we need for the acres. So we just have such a tight window with fungicides and such that we've ended up now upgrading basically to 2 sprayers. And then, yeah, like I said, for harvest, we have those 3 combines and 2 grain carts at the moment, but that's also comes in handy for seeding time when we have the way that we fill up our carts and stuff is actually with our grain carts as well as like our tandems. So yeah, we have a bit of a roster here going. And then of course all of our haying equipment as well.
If my hired hand learns that you load your air carts with a grain cart, I'm going to be in trouble. No, I'm going to have to start doing that. But it must be highly efficient to load an air cart with a grain cart. That must load in no time.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's kind of a thing that not many people do, but we've done it for so long. I actually don't know any different. We always load our seed into have our seed in the grain cart that goes into the air seeder. We always do the seed that way. And then the auger that's actually on the cart, like on the seeder cart, that one we take to fill up the fertilizer. So that was basically our fertilizer auger. And then the other ones with the cart.
Okay, so when it comes to I have to ask this question, between the K715 and the 1050 big Fendt 2-track, what's your personal favorite choice?
So I love the Fendt. I gotta say that it is just such a nice tractor. So I think that's probably my favorite tractor on the farm. So I would have to choose the Fendt.
I can't disagree with you because I've never drove a Fendt, but I mean, we do have a 2-track Cat, and we do have a big 4-track New Holland. But yeah, them 2-tracks are amazing things. They'll go any place. As long as you don't steer them, they'll go anywhere. But if you try to steer them in a mud hole, you're just stuck. But yeah, they're pretty awesome machines. So what do you say?
Yeah, definitely. I've had to pull it out of the swamp before, but it's a great machine.
What was your one planter you said there?
It's a Federstadt Tempo L is what it's called. We've had this one for a couple of years. We do canola with it, and peas is actually what we plant with our planter.
So this is one thing that really always spikes my interest, is doing canola with a planter. What rate are you seeding at with a planter?
It's basically half of what you would normally do. I think we're at about 2 now.
Okay, so even with the extra costs of running a planter, and you don't have to go into detail on this, are you seeing enough return doing the half rate at like 2.5 pounds per acre with a planter? In your savings of not buying seed, are you making up for more than that in maintenance on the planter?
Absolutely. Like the planter is our one piece of equipment that it has paid itself off the fastest by quite a lot. Like we started out with, because I mean it was a trial, right? Nobody else really was doing it in the area. We always like to try new things. So we bought a used case planter probably 5 years ago now, just to try it out and to see, right? Because before we buy a brand new one, you want to make sure it makes sense. So we did my dad did lots of research. We were looking into it and we're like, yep, we're going to try this. And canola seed is very expensive. And if you're able to half that obviously makes a huge difference, because that case planter we basically had paid off in 2 years just from saving the seed.
And were you just using it for canola at that time?
No, we started with peas basically right away as well. That was basically we wanted to do with canola mostly, but now I have to think. The peas we may have started the second year, but yeah, canola was definitely we really want to try to somehow reduce that cost, just because with our air seeder, right, that seed is so tiny and so light that it's not able to really, at least with our air seeder, right, it's definitely not as precise as a planter. So we were just trying to find new ways to do that and save money, as well as just be more precise. And because we have 2 pieces of equipment running in the spring, we're obviously able to do quite a lot more acres in a shorter amount of time, which, as you guys probably know, is a very good thing when it comes to weather and just the unpredictability of farming.
Oh, yes. So let's stick with the planter for a little bit before I get into weather, because that's one of my favorite topics. So when you use the peas in the planter, do you cut the rate in them too? Like we seed our peas about 205 pounds. So like you can cut the pea rate too in the peas with a planter? That's a lot of peas.
Yeah, you're definitely able to, just because it does it per seeds, right? So it counts every single seed that goes down. So off the top of my head, I wouldn't be able to convert that to the pounds, but for that one, we do like a seed count basically as well. But yeah, you're obviously able to reduce the seed amount as soon as you go to a planter, just because it counts every single seed that goes into the soil.
Right. And I've had agronomists tell me too, with air drills, especially in canola, we can lose up to 15% of our seed just in cracks, just because of the inertia the seeds need to travel through to get to our openers. So I guess in a planter, you have the boxes on the back. So really you don't have a fan pushing that seed around. It's just basically gravity, is it not?
So yeah, there's correct me if I'm wrong, but there's kind of 2 different kind of planters. You either have more of like a vacuum or like a little bit more of that basically just blowing the air kind of thing. So you still have that because you have to move the seed through the tubes and then it goes into the discs and into the ground. So it definitely still has to move a little bit, but I would think definitely not as rough as with an air seeder.
Okay. And so for your fertilizers, are you putting that down with the planter as well, or do you just do that ahead of the planter?
So right now we have a cone spreader on the back of a tractor, and we would spread the fertilizer before the planter gets onto that field, and then hopefully kind of is the idea to work it in a little bit. We did do liquid application with our case planter. Fierstadt right now doesn't have that on there. Maybe looking into that in the future, but it's just such a sticky, disgusting process. Like we had some of the tubing sometimes break and stuff with the case planter, and it's just a mess. So it's not very fun to work with. And so the coon sprinter really works well with us, for us, and it does a good job. So I think that's kind of what we're looking into. Maybe doing the liquid again, maybe putting a setup onto the Federstadt. We just haven't done that quite yet.
Well, I know that's when we had just had a guest on. No, it just got released today, I guess. So Chuck Tony, he spreads almost all of his fertilizer through he's just a sulfur spreader, but there's some huge savings by doing that in time in the spring, especially when it comes to seeding. Like when you're just throwing in a little bit of phos fertilizer and seed, your field times are really reduced, and same with the logistics of getting all that product to the field, because that's when you want to get hundreds of pounds of fertilizer to the field. If you can have that out before or in a separate operation, then your drills and your planters can just make time.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we actually do spread in front of the planter as well as our air seeder. The air seeder does take a bit of fertilizer with it, but we do spread as well in front of it just so that we're able to drive faster. And obviously, like you said, just be able to load up faster and just go for more acres before you have to load up again. So yeah, we do it actually in front of both of our machines.
With one spreader?
Yeah, we just have the one coon spreader. I mean, you're able to drive fast, and it does, I think it goes 120 feet is the span of the coon. So you can make some time pretty fast.
Well, how many tons would that spreader be?
I think it's about 3 tons.
Okay, so it'd just be a 3-point hitch spreader then.
Yes, it is. No, I mean, the thing is that we're also looking into the holdup on that one is filling it up. That takes the absolute longest. As soon as it's filled up, you can just like drive fast, spread it, and then you're good. But right now we have like an auger attached to our tandems, and then we basically drive out to the fields, and that just takes too long right now. So it's a nice like easy setup that you don't have to haul, like, get an auger in behind with a pickup and drive that to the field, as well as the tandem. Like it's stuck together basically. We kind of made our own little creation there, but it's just too slow. So that we are just looking into ways of getting that to go faster.
On almost a change of subject in a way, I seen a TikTok video today of a guy that had an older grain cart, and on the back of the grain cart, he had a fertilizer spreader mounted, and he just had an auger out of the grain cart into the spreader and a camera. And as he needed, he would just be augering into the spreader, because it just like probably 10 times the capacity of his spreader by doing that. I thought that was pretty ingenious of that guy.
Yeah, no, I've kind of seen like a similar setup as well. And yeah, it's definitely sparked some ideas for us too. So we will see what we come up with here in the next bit. But yeah, that's really the little bit of a hold up. Otherwise, the coon spreader goes very fast and very efficient. It's just that filling up time that we need to fix.
Well, me and all the rest of your TikTok followers will be waiting patiently to watch that video, because
yeah, I'll let you know when it happens.
So here's another question I have for you. How did you start your TikTok journey? Like, I mean, you have hundreds of thousands of followers. So how did you start off, and how did you get to where you're at? And do you have any goals of growing your page more, or you're just kind of happy doing what you're doing?
So I actually started, I didn't even know really what TikTok was. My little sister was like sending me funny videos of it all the time. I was like, okay, fine, I'll download the app. And it actually started, I think the first video I did was because there was like a sound that like dogs listen to, that they like make funny, like they tilt their head and stuff. And I just thought that was hilarious. And I have a German Shepherd Rottweiler. So I made a video of that. And I don't know what it was. It was on the farm. So maybe something machinery was in the background, but I got like comments of like, oh, what is that? Or like there was a sprayer or something. I remember somebody was being like, oh, like, what do you seed with that? And I'm like, what do you mean? It's a sprayer, right? Like, and I could very quickly see that there was like so many people did not know anything about agriculture or like where their food comes from. And I mean, it makes sense. You don't really learn it in school, unfortunately, which I think that's that should be fixed.
I
Unless
agree.
you have somebody somebody in agriculture, or your family does agriculture, you're never really exposed to it anymore. So yeah, really quickly I was like, oh my gosh, nobody knows about this. They have so many questions. Well, I could share that information and let people know a little bit more about agriculture and just understand it a bit more, because they were so interested in it and I was interested to share it too, because I think it's very important to know. So yeah, that's basically how it started. Yeah, it's been quite fun, and definitely did not expect it to grow as it did. And in regards to just growing it more, I mean, right now, obviously, people might have noticed I've definitely taken a step back on the social media these past 8 months due to my son. But yeah, that's definitely been the priority. But I think come harvest time, I'm going to have more content coming out again, because he's going to be starting a little bit of, I have a daycare set up, so I'll be on the field again, which I'm excited for. Yeah, so I think just doing it for fun still, just still trying to share that information. Don't really have a goal to, get more followers or anything. Just my goal was and still is just to share agricultural knowledge and what goes on my farm. So that's the goal, and it hasn't really changed.
And that's what Tyler and I do with this podcast too, is to share, because, with how every farm is, we're not far apart, but we are so different, and how your operation and share the knowledge that we have. And I'm a little older, so I have lots of experience knowledge, and I went to the school of hard knocks. I have made a lot of mistakes, but I've learned from my mistakes. So that's a key factor. Unlike Tyler, who, so you said you had a sister. Is she involved in the farm too?
I actually have 3 sisters, and none of them are interested in farming. They're actually all in the medicine field. And so I have a chiropractic sister, one that does naturopathic doctor, and the other one's studying to be a psychologist. So lots of medicine in the family, and I'm the only one that was really interested in the farm. So yeah, that's kind of how it
Did
turned
you
out.
go away for any post-secondary schooling after high school?
Yeah, so I have a Bachelor of Science in Agriculture with a crop science major.
Big words. I was writing that down.
I had to remember the title too. I was like, what was it again? I know I did 4 years for this. What was it called? But yeah, no, so I went to university for agriculture.
Which is, I think, a lot of the people we've noticed, we've had on the podcast have a lot of education, and that really seems to help. If you can surround yourself with smart people on the farm, including yourself, with education experience, it just helps you grow the farm so much more efficiently than just saying, well, this is how dad did it, this is how I'm doing it. Well, you come back from school with a new mindset of other things to try, and what's going to work, and baby steps on how to increase the farm. So and a little schooling, getting away from the farm, is always a good thing, because you went away from the farm and then decided you wanted to go back. Your sisters went away and they're not coming back.
Yeah, no, and I agree. I think I would have also loved to actually go abroad and work on another farm, just to get that experience and just find new ways. Like, that's why I also love the social media, just also following other farmers, seeing what they're doing, what ideas they have, and learn from them. So I think it's very important to get away from the family farm a bit if you are on a family farm, and just learn from something else. If it's just studying, or if it's also working on a different farm, I think that can really be beneficial.
And that's one thing I regret I never did. I did leave the family farm, but I didn't go to another farm. Out of high school, I went and did some trucking in the oil patch. So I did get to experience a whole different genre of work from a different angle. And I was able to apply some of that when I did come back to the farm. But we recently had Ken Sawyer on here, and he talked about how he went to Australia and did custom combining in the States. And he talks about how it changed his perspective on how to do things. And unfortunately, I regret not going away and doing that. I have a family now, so maybe when I retire from this farm, maybe I can go and do that. But in the foreseeable future, unfortunately for me, that won't be happening.
That custom combining run, I did one to Texas and back. We talked about that with Ken too. And I look back on that memories all the time of the difference of people and perspectives. So that's always a good thing. So if you're listening to this podcast and you don't know what you want to do, maybe join a custom combining run for the fall. Call up some farmer. He'll have a friend that'll have a buddy that, will probably be shorthanded come harvest, and just go try a different farm, try a different operation. Because sometimes you really learn what you like and don't like, and just that whole new experience of 100 miles away is just like another planet sometimes for different farms.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
And you also have your 1A license too, eh?
Class 1? Or sorry, which one did you say?
Your class 1.
Yeah. No, as soon as we're like here, when you're 18, you can do that one. So I was 18, so I went and got that one. So yeah, no, I have that one as well as the motorcycle, and of course, like the normal one as well. I did all of those as soon as that was that age. I'm like, hey, gotta go get it. So no, it's a very handy, and you definitely need it on the farm, the class one. So I do a lot of trucking as well. Obviously, again, not this past year, but I mean, we truck all of our wheat or canola, all of it to the elevators. So we have quite a bit of tons to move.
No, that's something I have to agree with you on, is having a class 1 driver's license. And to any of our American listeners, that's equivalent to a CDL. We just call it a class 1A license. That's how they mark out our licenses, or our grade of our license would be an easy way to say it. But I take my daughter with me when hauling to the elevator once in a while, and I taught her what the Jake brake is. Well, we can be sitting at the dinner table, and I'll look at her, honey, Jake brake. And she goes, ba, 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 ba.
That's awesome.
And I often found when I took my daughter for a truck driving, if they haven't napped, like, I don't know, it's the big motor or the rumble of the truck, but boy, you can put a kid to sleep so fast in a truck. It's unreal.
Yeah.
And my hired man, he was hauling some grain, and his girlfriend is a paramedic. So she's gone 4 days and then back. And he's actually, their little guy's only, I think he's 16 months now. He's had him strapped in a car seat in the semi and hauled grain and give him some toys and a snack. And, he's made it work, and he said that he loves it. So I'm like, well, if mama's okay with it, I'm okay with it. If your little son's okay with it, go for it. So he's hauled grain to the elevator, and he says, oh yeah, he just mainly sleeps and plays and snacks and looks out the window and just exposing the kid to agriculture all the time. So it's awesome.
And that's an interesting dynamic, because you and I, we've talked about our families and people that are involved with our family farms, Dallas, and that I know which hired man you're talking about. And he came from a background of not being in agriculture at all. And there's 2 generations there that you've brought into agriculture.
Yeah. Like Tommy's dad's a pharmacist, and Tommy's grandpa was a farmer, and on both sides, I think both his grandpas were farmers. But Tommy grew up, Tommy's a journeyman electrician by education, but he's in the union in Regina, and then he was at the bottom of the totem pole, and he wasn't working in the fall of 17, and he's got a brand new truck and a brand new condo, and this through some mutual friends. I'd never met the man before, and he'd never ran machinery, and I was looking for help at harvest, and it's a combine. I can show pretty well anybody how to run a combine, and they're fairly easy to run if with the right experience. And he said, I will sleep in a tent in the park if you'll give me a job. I don't want to lose my condo. I don't want to lose my truck. I will do anything for a job. I need a job. Well, and then I find out then he's a journeyman electrician, and he's just actually, hopefully he's not listening to this, he's just an absolute genius. So on and off since 2017 till now, Tommy does all the seeding basically, and he's the if I'm not around and Dad's not around, Tommy's in charge. And from not coming from a farm background to, he's in charge, that just shows how smart some people are. And I surrounded myself with an incredibly smart young man there. So I'm so lucky to have Tommy. So I don't know what I'd do without him. So hopefully he's not listening, because he'll be asking for a raise.
Maybe a pay raise in Tommy's future
Yeah.
here in Dallas.
So how we often discuss a little bit of weather here. I'm right in southern Saskatchewan. I'm only 34 miles from the border, basically right in the middle of the province. And we are basically pretty dry. How have your crops up there in Central Alberta, and how's your rainfall and stuff this year?
Yeah, and unfortunately, not much of a difference there than you were saying at the beginning of the podcast. You were saying about 2.5 inches of rain. That's about the same story for us as well. So very dry. We've gotten now finally, the last couple of weeks, we've gotten that couple of rain showers, and I mean that's amounted to our 2.5 inches. So very dry. Definitely need more. I think we've had more snow than it sounds than you did. We finally had a little bit more snow during the winter, so that helped, but still very dry. Hopefully that rain came in time for our winter wheat. It's starting to fill out those kernels. Hopefully it came in time. We will see come harvest time.
Yeah, because that's actually what I was doing today. Our winter wheat, actually, we put in the claim with crop insurance on Wednesday, and the adjuster come out on Thursday, which was really fast. Our winter wheat, they did the plant and the head count, and they put it at 6 bushels to the acre. So our winter wheat is rode off. I'm going to go spray that out here right away. Usually in this area, it's a seed early, capitalize that early moisture, and the first 1,000 acres of durum, they come out and rode it off at 3.5. So that's the next field I'm going to spray to, which is, I've never lost a crop in June before, but the plant is so stunted and so sick and just So that's going to be videos of that coming out too, because maybe out spraying and terminating crop in June. So that's a terrible thing to have to go do. But if it's only going to do 3.5, it's not worth putting a combine over. If I terminate that crop now, I got some snow catch. It's got 6 inches of height there to it now. It's the height of the stubble that it should be cut at, and it's headed out and turning. So terminate that crop. Hopefully it stops uptaking fertilizer, and hopefully stops uptaking moisture, and hopefully catches some snow and maybe some summer rains here once it's terminated. Summer rains, and hopefully be summer follow for next year to help grow a crop, because I am getting pretty tired of missing crops. We'll get one, we'll miss one. Last year was poor. The year before was better. This year is probably worse than 21, and 21 for us was a terrible year.
Yeah, unfortunately, the last couple 3 years have been very dry for us as well.
And with what you, Dallas, and Melanie are talking about, that's very stressful, and that can be hard on your mental health. So there's a program out there. It's called Sask Ag Matters. They're a helpline where you can go get help. Their number is 1-800-667-4442.
Because we know, farming right now, as Melanie and I are both discussing, we're both in missing the rains, catching too much heat, and it's stressful. But see, I'm a long ways away from Melanie's farm, but we're in the same boat. We're not happy with how things are going. Sometimes, if you just don't have somebody to say that to, if you need the breakdown and call and talk to somebody, because we're all in the same boat in agriculture together, and we have to get past the stereotype that tough farmers and ranchers and farming, Melanie also being a female on the side, it's stressful, and sometimes you need somebody to talk to that's maybe not a family member, maybe not a buddy. So you can just call them that number, 1-800-667-4442. It's a farm stress line here in Saskatchewan. And if you're in Alberta, Google it. I'm sure there'll be some numbers there too. I know Alberta's got some good programs too. We have to get past that stereotype that we can do everything. No, we can't. And we can't handle everything either. If you're having a tough time, give that number a call, talk to the operator there. You only have to divulge what you want to divulge information, but they're there to help. These programs are all available to us, not just on the farm stress line. Alcoholics Anonymous, we had Dylan on here a little while ago. That really saved him, he says. So there's so much help out there if you're willing to say, I need a little help. Make a call, do a little Googling, because the kids' help phone, health line, suicide crisis number, there are so many things out there that could just make a big difference. By one little phone call could change your life. That's all we want you to do, is know that you're not alone. We're all in this together. We're all trying to make a living at it. So whether you're the owner of the farm, or you're the hired man, or you're just starting, or you're planning on retiring and you can't handle the stresses and you want to talk to somebody, give that a call, because they're there to help.
And don't be afraid to share our message. I was fortunate. I received a message from one of my followers on TikTok, and a follower of this podcast. He wasn't even a Canadian. He's from the Midwest in the States. He reached out to me and said, thank you for what you guys are doing. You guys helped me gain the courage to go out and get help when I needed it. That is awesome. That makes me feel so proud that just a little bit of effort Dallas and I and all our guests we have on this podcast are putting into this are making a difference in helping people. We want to see everybody go home to their loved ones at the end of the day. You don't even have to be involved in agriculture to go get help. There is so much help out there. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Exactly. And I find it amazing that, just even listen to our podcast. I've had some buddies come up and say, told me before that they've called that number. They couldn't handle it. BSE was hard on things. And it's so true. And he didn't care who he said that he called that number, because he was happy, to share his message that, he was having a tough time with it. He didn't have any energy. He was down on his luck. Things weren't going good. He was proud enough to know that he needed a little help. So that was pretty awesome. So again, it's 1-800-667-42 is the farm stress line. But no matter what genre of life and work you're in, if you're having some tough times, do a little Googling. There'll be numbers out there. There's always somebody to talk to.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure, call that number, because I can definitely understand the stress, and I can definitely understand. I think honestly, everybody should have somebody to talk to. Maybe everybody should go to even a therapist, because it's beneficial. I mean, what harm could it do? It could only really help you. So like, why not, right? Like, why not just have a chat and get better, right? Like, just have a little bit, even just a little bit of a help. Maybe those 5 minutes will just completely change your outlook, or maybe even just give you like those 5 minutes of peace and a little bit of a reset. And why not, right? Like, it can't hurt you. It can only benefit you. So
you're 100% right. It's just beneficial. Because I think in Saskatchewan here, you can qualify for up to 6 hours of free one-on-one counseling, can't you?
Yes, that's correct. I don't know if it's through the Saskag Matters, but it's through another program that's under the branch of that. And there's 6 free hours of counseling if you qualify for it. We should really get a member of that society on here and really go into the depths of how all this works. So if somebody from the Saskag Matters or a mental health program in Saskatchewan or Canada or whatever, get a hold of Dallas or I. You can get a hold of us on our TikTok pages or our personal Facebook pages.
Tyler and I actually at the farm show have talked to the Saskag Matters and stuff. And that is definitely, we're going to have, is Darren Peterson is his name. We're going to have him on here, and him and his wife. And yeah, so we are definitely going to do that too. Because one thing about this podcast is Tyler and I are just a couple of farmers. We're doing this for the fun, spreading agriculture. And, if we can do a little good at the same time, it's even better. So again, sometimes it makes some oops and some mistakes. Like if you ever listened to the first podcast, there was dings and whistles and random Snapchats. But we're getting better.
We're getting better.
I didn't start off with a podcast, Mike. I started off with a headset, and every breathing noise I had was in there. And other people say I don't hear it, but I know it's me, so I hear it. So.
I'm the one doing the editing, so I heard it.
Oh yeah, I have a headset on too, so hopefully it's I hope you guys can hear me pretty good.
You sound perfect.
You're crystal clear. That's awesome. So one question I have for you, Melanie, being a female and being an egg, there comes a lot of criticism towards females. And on top of it, as we talk, you have a fairly popular social media presence. Have you ever had somebody come on there and tell you, you're a female, what are you doing an egg?
Oh, 100%. And I can't even count how many times.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not the greatest. I feel like as soon as you're on social media, no matter really what you do, there's always those keyboard warriors or whatever they're called out there that just have something to say just to, I don't know why, but no, there's definitely been a lot of those comments or messages that I get, but most of the time I ignore them. Some of them I just like pick out, make a little funny video about it and just be like, yep, okay. Don't really, but most of the time I ignore it. Sometimes I kind of make fun of the comment a little bit, just have a little bit of fun with it and not take it too seriously. And that's what my husband said too. And he was like, okay, because I was sharing those comments with him. I'm like, can you believe somebody would say this, right? Like it's, actually say this unbelievable kind of comments I would get. And he was like, you know what, do your social media if it makes fun for you, but if you ever get too stressed about it, or you're just getting, you're not able to handle those comments anymore, just stop, right? Like, it's not worth it. Make sure your mental health is good. If you're having fun with it, keep doing it. Don't take it too seriously, those comments. And that's what I've been doing. But yeah, some of them are just like, some of them I have to laugh. I'm like, okay. Some of them I'm like, okay, that's a little bit much. But yeah, I think I've learned to, at least for the most part, ignore them.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I get to some there, and, haters, and I haven't done it this week. I must be sick. I haven't blocked anybody yet this week. But if I find somebody puts a rude comment towards myself or my family or my men or my machinery, just them ones that just want to cause a fight, I won't even acknowledge their comment. I'll just scroll up and block them, because I don't need that much negativity on my page. So I haven't blocked anybody yet this week. So maybe next week I can block somebody.
Maybe you filtered through them, Dallas. Maybe you've gotten rid of them all.
Yeah, it's nice. And TikTok started, I don't know how long they do, but I just noticed that they filter actually comments now that you're able to approve or just delete right away. So they kind of actually filter as soon as people put some words in there that, are not so nice. It automatically actually doesn't show up on the comments. Only you're able to look at it and just delete it or approve it if you want to, start a little rival in the comments.
Yeah.
I think that's nice that they started doing that. Just probably, as soon as you're on social media, unfortunately, there's always people out there that have something rude to say.
Yeah. And especially yourself and myself and Tyler, we're putting ourselves out there. We're putting our operations out there. We're putting our skills and our values out there, which not everybody has to agree with me. I'm fine with that, but just don't be a jackwag in the comments about it, or else you're going to end up on the block page and you're going to be stuck, not watching my stuff. I mean, you can go rude on somebody else's page, but you're not being rude on my page. But in some of them TikTok, it gets, you can't show a steering wheel. There's certain things you can't. I have so many flag
Oh my
videos.
gosh, yes, especially on the combine. As soon as there's a steering wheel in there, and like the auto steer, right? I'm obviously showing the steering wheel, no hands, whatever, and they're like, "No, this is unsafe." I'm like, "I'm on the field. I'm not hurting nobody."
Yeah.
But
Being on the topic of TikTok here, I had one where I was promoting one of our episodes and I was doing a spout about cowboy caviar, and TikTok flagged it, saying I was promoting drug use. So I obviously appealed it, and they seen, okay, he's just talking about beef jerky, so he's all good. But like, how does beef jerky and drugs, like that cowboy caviar, it is like doing drugs because it's so good, but it's just funny how it catches some stuff, and then you'll get across the next creator's thing and they're walking around with a gun, shooting stuff and showing blood and guts, and it's fine.
Yeah.
yeah,
But
And I was also
farmer
informed.
in Canada shows a steering wheel with the auto steer clicked on at 5 miles an hour, and all of a sudden you're getting flagged.
Yeah.
What's the deal here? Come on.
dangerous activity. Only professionals are doing this. Yeah.
And I was also informed, Tyler, we've been saying it all the promoting we done was all wrong. It's Cowboys. There's an S in there, caviar, which is a great snack. And if Cowboys Caviar is listening to this, I am out. So if you want to send us a little care package, that'd be awesome.
I am also out.
I don't even know. I've never even tried it. So
Well, so if you're at a co-op gas station or any gas station, any place, and you want a good snack, Cowboys Caviar, it's made right in Moose Jaw. It is an awesome beef jerky snack. It is so soft, so chewy, awesome. So if you need a little beef jerky snack and you're out there and you see it, you want to help promote a good Saskatchewan business, pick up a bag. It's great stuff. Melanie, on your guys' farm, you'd mentioned before that your husband you brought him over in a work program. How many men, and how have you found things have worked with you for hired men and keeping men locally and stuff like that? And bringing men over we've brought them over from us. Never any Germans, but Ukrainians, Bulgarians, and South Africans so far at our farm. But how have you found that's worked out for you for hired men?
So we've had farmhands coming over from Germany basically since we started farming here, just because right away there's nobody really here locally that wanted to farm or work on a farm. Like I find it's a huge problem just because nobody is really exposed to agriculture unless you're on a family farm or you know somebody in agriculture. You never really learn where your food comes from. And I mean, of course, then why would you have an interest in working on a farm if you're never really exposed to it? So because of that, we've had to hire from internationally. So from Germany is what we do, because I mean, we all speak German and we still travel back and forth. And at the beginning, we were doing all the interviews there. Like my grandpa would be there and kind of interview them. And then at the beginning, it was through that, and then it just went word of mouth. And yeah, it's been really good. Like we've never had problems getting enough people over. We're usually actually trying to be like, yeah, we're full this year, sorry, maybe next year kind of thing. So it's been really good. We've definitely had lots of guys as well as women come out from Germany, and it's been really fun. So we have the people from Germany come over either just for a season or for spring up until harvest time, and sometimes they stay for a year. We usually do the work and travel visa for them. And then they're basically able to also experience a new farm, and then we take them quadding into the mountains. And they usually come on a couple camping trips with us, and are able to see how agriculture is in Canada in comparison to Germany is quite a difference. And yeah, like I said, word of mouth has been really good. The only year we had problem was, of course, COVID, because they weren't giving any visas out anymore. So that was a bit of a tough year. But I mean, in a good way, we had a horrible harvest, so it went over really fast. So we didn't really need all the employees we usually do. But yeah, that's what we've been doing. And yeah, that's where my husband, he was also in Germany. He came over as well onto our farm and worked as a farmhand for us one time in 2013, and then in 2016, and then he stayed since 2016. He's been here permanently. So we've actually had quite a few employees that actually stayed in Canada permanently because they just fell in love with the land here. So we have a couple guys actually that are permanent residents now and have either brought their wives over or found a wife here and stayed in Canada.
So do you have a camp set up on the farm for your hired help, or do you just, how do you house all them people? Like, how many do you normally bring over a year is another question I should ask.
Yeah, so I mean, for seeding, we don't need as many. We usually have around four that we bring over, and then for harvest, we have like 5 or 6. I mean, that differs per year kind of thing. It also differs. Sometimes if they stay a whole year, sometimes they stay over the winter. But then we usually only need like 1 or 2 guys max. We're basically just working on all those projects that we need to get done throughout the winter. So kind of, we need a couple more here, a couple more there. Like right now we have a guy that is going back to Germany, so he won't be here for harvest because he's been here a year. And then we have another new guy coming in about 2 weeks. So the nice thing is, I mean, it's always like it's usually almost a fun crew. Like we've never had any issues. I think over the 30 years now, we've had to send one guy back. Like other than that, we've had great luck. And they're like, I mean, we hire young guys or young women, mostly them, right? Because usually they're done schooling, they want to get a little bit of experience and then start their job in Germany. So it's usually always young guys or women, and they're eager to learn. I mean, we've had people come over, they have no clue, 0% knowledge of agriculture. Or we have people that come over and they're like an amazing mechanic and have worked on the farm all their lives. So we have all the, like, just such a different level of employees as well, like just for their knowledge. But honestly, if they have 0% knowledge, it's sometimes even better.
It's beneficial
because
sometimes.
we're able to just, okay, like this is how we do it here, or like we teach them our ways and they soak it right up. If they're eager, they're like, yep, okay, like I'm willing to learn how you guys do it here, and I'm willing to, like, and we love when they also give their voice and tell us their ideas, like, oh, maybe we could do it this way, and we absolutely love that as well. But it's almost good when they come with no knowledge and we're eager to learn. We've had all different ranges, like absolutely no knowledge to all the knowledge, and both of them work great. Don't get me wrong, it is lovely to have a mechanic or a guy that knows his way around all the tractors. You don't even, you don't need to show them how to move a tractor, right? Like they know how to do that. So there's definitely we hire all of them basically that will have interest in it and are eager to learn. And yeah,
that's pretty awesome.
That's basically what we do.
And that's one advantage that you have with you being able to be fluent in German, and your parents obviously too, is, because we've brought over, Ukrainians and South Africans and stuff, and we have to fight that language barrier because I only know English. Unfortunately, I'm stuck with that. So you have an advantage of you could bring over somebody that's fluent, obviously, in German, and comes right in with no language barriers. That's what one of our biggest issues has been. That first year of fighting that language barrier is always a huge factor. Even if they're really good in English, it's not their native natural tongue like you are with German. I never thought of it that way, but you got like a leg up on everybody else because you bring over somebody that speaks German to a German speaking operation, which is, I think that's ingenious, actually.
Yeah, it's worked well for us. I mean, I wish we could have more local people here work on the farm. That'd be nice. I mean, one of the downsides of just having those seasonal people coming over from Germany, and that work and travel visa is maximum a year. After that, you need to get a different kind of visa. It's more expensive. It's harder to get. I mean, and usually they only are here for 1 year maximum before they start their jobs. So every single season or every single year, you're having to teach the same new things to the new people that come over. So it does get in that way a little bit tedious, that you're always having to, where are the fields? Where's the equipment? But as long as you're willing to do that and put the time into it, it's quite fun. Like it's always nice meeting new people as well, and just always having a new crew every season. Has its ups and downs, but I mean mostly ups, I think, and it's fun.
So what do you do for housing for the men? Like we own a couple different houses that my hired men stay in. So what do you guys do for housing?
Right. So we also own a house, another property. We kind of like, do you know those trailers that stay on like the oil fields, basically those,
camps? Yep.
Basically those camps. We've kind of we've bought those. We've renovated them through, so they have their air conditioning and they have their own nice big kitchen, and everyone has their rooms. And so we give them vehicles to drive around with, also to go to the mountains with, and to see Canada. So that's kind of what we offer. We offer that Canadian, like a nice Canadian experience, go see the Rockies and stuff, and go quadding. We take you to, our secret spot in the mountains, and we go quadding there and show them and give them our quads, right? And to go have fun with. And yeah, they're able to sleep here on the farm. And yeah.
That does sound like an awesome job. I wish I could speak German.
I mean, we have one local guy, like, I'm glad because of COVID, it forced us really to, like, we had nobody coming from Germany. We really had to find somebody. And I mean, we've always been looking. We always have, a job thing going out there for a local guy. And finally, we did get one through COVID, basically. We had to get a couple and hit their, two young guys in high school, a 16-year-old guy. He was just like, yeah, and he was driving the Fendt 1050, right, when it was brand new. So you put the 16-year-old kid on the very expensive piece of equipment. So he was having a blast. But actually, his father, he helps us out every now and again, and I've become a really good friend of ours. And then we have, like I said, that one local guy. He was in high school when he started here, and yeah, he loves it, and we love it, right? It's nice to have that local guy to stay year round and not have to show all the new things to. So that definitely helps. And we do have one other farmhand who's been here now over 2 years. He's trying to get his next, he's in the process of getting his next visa, and he actually does want to be a permanent resident as well. So I think that'd be probably at least the third or fourth person we've had now from our farmhands actually stay in Canada. So he wants to stay and help manage the farm and help keep things running smoothly. So we're very excited about that too. He's awesome. So
that's what I need to do, is make a TikTok video explaining in my video where the land is, what the machinery is, how it works, and just tell the new hire, just go watch video 1082 and it'll save me a lot of time. But the only problem is that I'd show the whole world where all the farmland is, but it was just like, it'd be like 51st dates, at the very end there when they wake up and they're out in the ocean there, and
right.
She hits the old play me on the VHS, and that's what we need to do for the hired man. Tyler, you got to agree with this one.
I'm all game for it.
Or maybe you haven't watched 51st Dates.
It's a great movie. I would I'd recommend watching it.
My old roommate, who's actually farms just north of us 20 miles, I lived in Estevan, and we roommated together. And this is 20 years ago when you guys were just youngins. And we come to go out to the movie, and the only thing playing in the movie theater in Estevan was 51st Dates. And conveniently, I forgot my wallet back at the apartment. So we go to the movie. He's like, I'll buy. And we end up going for supper in the movie. And then we go to the movie theater for 51st Dates. And there's just the two of us there. But everybody else in the movie theater is couples. And he's got a pretty good sense of humor. And so we watched the movie, and 51st Dates is a great movie. And we come to leave, and I said, Tyler, I've had better looking dates go to the movies with. And he goes, I read how it went on there. And he goes right loud, because he's one of them guys, got a good sense of humor. He says, I buy you dinner and a movie, and you call me a poor date? Oh, I could have died, crawled under a rock. Everybody's looking at us like we're just, you got to have a good sense of humor. And I look back at that story fondly and laugh. And I can't watch 51st Dates without thinking of my buddy Tyler. The other Tyler, not this Tyler, but my other buddy Tyler. Yeah, I buy you a dinner and a movie, and you call me a poor date. So yeah, Tyler, you got to watch 51st Dates. We're going to do a movie review. If Dylan can do drink reviews Tuesdays, we can do movie reviews Sundays.
First, I got to find the time to be able to watch a movie.
I was about to say, I don't know the last time I watched one.
So, Melanie, would you be able to speak a little bit of German for us to have in the podcast here, and then tell us afterwards what you said?
Yeah, and we're the Bunny Hug Farmers, in case you want to put that in there.
Oh boy, people always ask me to speak German, and I'm like, what do I say? Give me a second here.
You could say something like, this is Melanie, that female farmer, on the Bunny Hug Farmers podcast.
Yeah, but that's mostly English.
Okay.
That Female Farmer, Bunny Hugs podcast, and there's a little bit of German in there. I'll just say a little bit here. Hallo, mein Name ist Melanie. Ich lebe in Kanada, bin eine Landwirtin und ich habe richtig Spaß. Keine Ahnung, Fendt 1050 ist mein Lieblingstrecker und ich weiß wirklich nicht mehr, was zu sagen. Also das war's jetzt für das Deutsche. Hoffentlich hat jemand das verstanden. Keine Ahnung, ob noch andere Leute hier Deutsch sprechen, aber das war's.
That's really good. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm basically nothing important, but I just basically introduce myself, and then I am a farmer, and wondering if there's people actually that listen to your podcast that speak German. Probably do. I mean, there's in our area here, there's quite a few people that speak German. So yeah, maybe they understood me, and then I basically just said the Fendt 1050 is probably my favorite tractor on the farm. So
I did catch 1050.
Yeah, the Fendt 1050.
So imagine you're teaching your son German too, I would assume. Obviously, your husband's mainly fluent in German.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, German is my first language as well as his for my husband. And my son, he only hears German, I would say 99.9% of the time. So he'll probably be like me growing up. I mean, we actually had a rule at home. We were only allowed to speak German at home. So I feel like that's probably what I'm going to do with him as well, just because if you don't practice it, you lose it, right? I have cousins here that they didn't have to do that, and they can barely understand, like the ones that stayed here in Canada, they were able to understand German growing up, but I mean, if you never really hear it, you lose it quite fast. So my son, he actually only hears German, and then when he gets into school here, he'll hear English, and then he'll learn it. Like, kids are so, it's amazing how many languages they can learn when they're small. It's actually impressive. It's amazing, really, what they all soak up. So he will be learning German first as well, and then English.
Yeah. My dad was the same way. You know, my dad's born in the 40s, so he rode the horse and buggy to the little one-room schoolhouse, and he was only spoke French. And I remember him telling the story that the teachers thought he was stupid because he couldn't speak any English. And his older sisters are like, no, he only speaks French. He will learn English. And he did. And now my dad is 100% or 99% English speaking. But every once in a while, him and mom will get rattling back and forth in French. And he's just trying to keep his French language going, because that's, you know, we're all English speaking. And I wish maybe if I could pick a second language to learn, it would be sign, I think, myself. English and sign language would be awesome, because I think some people that, you know, are deaf and hearing impaired, all they have is sign. There's nothing else. So I think that would be cool, but I'm too old for that. But I think that's pretty awesome.
I tried learning sign language. I did actually do a course in university because I find it so like an awesome, I love it. But yeah, if I didn't practice it afterwards, then I lost it so fast. So yeah, unfortunately, because I find it'd be so cool to be able to do that.
My sister took a course in university also. And I remember we were at church one time at Christmas, and she learned how to sign Silent Night. That's just an amazing to watch somebody that can do that. Like, it's so impressive, you know, once you could learn that skill. But I think, again, she probably has forgotten that. And so, yeah, that's my second.
I would love
choice.
to that story you have about the French and him going to school and them thinking that he didn't know much. Same exact thing happened basically to my oldest sister. I mean, she's firstborn. She had no other siblings really, you know, to speak English with or whatever, and it was just mom and dad. It was only German. And when she went to kindergarten, they called my mom and were like, yeah, we got to have a talk, right? Like, so my mom came over there and they're like, she didn't know any English, right? And then as soon as they heard my mom speak, they're like, oh, we understand now. So I'm not worried about my boy not. I mean, he has English books and everything, so he'll definitely be exposed to English before he goes to school. But German will be his first language,
which will be awesome, because I mean that's the next gen. He's the fourth generation of your farm right there.
Yeah, exactly. If he wants to, no pressure. I mean, I love that my parents, they never pushed that on us at all. We could be involved in the farm. We didn't have to be. They basically wanted us to get a post-secondary education, and we all did. And then even when I started university, actually, my first semester, I had no idea what I was going to do. I always loved agriculture, but I didn't know. And then basically about a month in, I think I was like, yeah, no, what am I doing? I want to do agriculture. So I really loved it that my parents never forced that on us, and we got to make that decision ourselves, what we wanted to do. And I want to do the same thing for my son as well. If he wants to continue the farm, awesome, that'd be amazing. But if he doesn't, then as long as he finds something he loves to do, that'll make me happy.
Yeah, that's what I say all the time. I have to expose my daughter to all sides of agriculture, you know, because especially with her, she is the only child that I have to expose her to all sides of agriculture, right from the cattle the farm, to the machinery side, so she can make them decisions on her own as she becomes an adult. You know, and again, I'm not going to say you're 18, take over the farm or leave. It's like you're 18, do your university, figure out what you want to do, and then we'll discuss things from there.
Yep. That's basically, that's a good plan.
Melanie, I thank you so much for coming and joining Tyler and I on the Bunny Hug Farmers podcast. We've enjoyed chatting with you so much. I have learned so much. I still have half a page of questions for you. So maybe sometime in the future after harvest next winter when our schedules aren't so hectic, we would be honored to have you back, you and your husband, and see how things went. If that's available, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I would love to. It's been really fun talking to you guys, and yeah, would definitely look forward to coming on the podcast again.
Yeah, because where are they now? She's on the, Tyler, put her on the where are they now list, because it's, Melanie, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on here. The whole world has been waiting for you patiently, myself especially, I can't wait for you to get back into the field, get some more videos coming, and just keep being a great person like you are. Thank you so much for coming on the Bunny Hug Farmers podcast with Tyler, Jaden, and myself. And thanks, Melanie, one more time.
Thank you, guys. That was fun.
Thanks, everybody, for listening to the Bunny Hug Farmers podcast.